2018 BMW 3 Series Saloon Review. The good points of BMW 3 Series Saloon: engaging handling no matter engine. Comfort isn't spared for agility. Generous equipment levels. Performance, efficiency balance. The bad points of BMW 3 Series Saloon: interior doesn't feel as premium as some rivals. Ride is usually unsettled without adaptive dampers. Cabin isn't the roomiest in this particular segment. Wide array of expensive options. For 6 generations, the BMW 3 Series Saloon has dominated the compact executive car market. Full review: every one of the latest news and photographs of the all-new 2019 BMW 3 Series Saloon, including all-new 330e model. Find BMW 3 Series cars available on. It's the saloon that rival manufacturers benchmark against when it comes to desirability, drivability and quality, among all kinds of other facets. And while some match as well as surpass the BMW in a few areas, it remains with the pinnacle of excellence with this segment. Should you overlook the alternatives from the shapes with the Audi A4 Saloon, Jaguars, Lexuses and Mercedes-Benz C-Class to but a few? Not at all. Nevertheless, the likelihood is you'll go back to the 3 Series due to the all-round abilities. There's not only the saloon, either, together with the ever-popular estate-bodied 3 Series Touring vying inside practicality stakes alongside the hatchback-bodied 3 Series Gran Turismo. Plus, in the event you're in search of something more light and slinky, abdominal muscles closely related to door 4 Series Coupe and Convertible, the replacements for previous generations of 3 Series Coupe and Convertible, are offered alongside the 5-door 4 Series Gran Coupe. BMW 3 Series price can make it popular with private and business customers. Not only may be the BMW 3 Series Saloon understandably high in wish list for a lot of private buyers, it's a sought-after company car. Why? Well, if you're a business in search of a good motorway cruiser which has a premium badge, excellent fuel economy and pin-sharp handling, next the 5 diesel models specifically prove being great all-rounders. Choose the fuel miserly ways with the 320D efficient dynamics and claimed diesel consumption is quoted at 72.4 miles per gallon. BMW 330e Review boasts surprisingly low running costs. It's not the most beneficial of 3 Series, though. That honor goes towards the plug-in petrol-electric hybrid 330e, quoted at 148.7 miles per gallon. The real-world figure, especially from urban environments, won't be that astonishing should you drive it to be an equivalent diesel model. However, its handling is just as impressive as other 3 Series derivatives. This is capable of running on electricity alone for 25 miles. The low CO2 figure of 44 grams/km is music towards the ears of company car drivers who value such agreeable benefit-in-kind tax levels. Petrol for enthusiasts. BMW hasn't forgotten enthusiasts who prefer the purity of petrol engines, with 4 inside the main lineup from your humble 318i to your boisterous 340i. These are anticipated to become ever more popular as diesel is lost of favor. Most designs have rear-wheel drive, but also for those choosing the security of all-wheel drive, then BMW 3 Series X-Drive versions are worth hunting out. BMW M3 carries a legacy to reside in up to. Topping the series lineup within price and gratification terms would be the latest BMW M3 Saloon, bearing a badge that's become fabled in motoring enthusiast circles in the last 3 decades. Turbocharging the M3's 6-cylinder 3.0-litre engine has liberated 431 horsepower, elevated to 450 horsepower should you plump to the sharper BMW M3 competition package. Choose the latter while using M double-clutch transmission, a gearbox that behaves as an automatic, on an impressive 4.0 second 0 to 62 miles per hour time. BMW 3 Series specs and quality. In events of yore, premium German saloons were sparsely equipped, the argument being you were paying instead for that engineering excellence. While that will have been true, it won't wash with contemporary tech-savvy buyers, so whether you opt with an say, Sport, M Sport or M Sport Shadow Edition 3 Series Saloon, you will discover it bristling with equipment including LED lights back and front, dual zone climate control and sat-nav. Where these series starts to show its age, this 6th iteration was released in 2012, is using its interior and tech. There's no doubting it's well assembled, plus the technology still feels current, but rivals have upped the ante when it comes to quality. Step in a 3 Series having spent time within an Audi A4 and you'd be forgiven for assuming there is a £10,000 price differential. BMW electrical fault recall in 2018. In May 2018 there is publicity within the mainstream media after having a BBC watchdog investigation in regards to recall affecting 312,000 BMWs inside the UK due to an electrical fault that might cause some cars to take out and stall as they were being driven, or maybe catch fire. It specifically concerns BMWs built between March 2007 and August 2011. It may affect the previous generations of 3 Series Saloon and 3 Series Touring, along with the sportier 3 Series Coupe and 3 Series Convertible lineups. Latest deals from BUIAC are BMW 3 Series 2.0 320D M Sport 4D, £18,500, or £274 every month. BMW 3 Series 320D M Sport 4D RST, £16,500, or £242 a month. See all deals on BMW 3 Series. Representative example, representative APR of 7.9% borrowing £10,509 over 48 months on HP type finance. The total amount payable could well be £250 30 days, having a total cost of credit of £1,483 plus a total amount payable of £11,992. Dennis BUIAC Car Limited, 3132 Alfred Place, London, WC1E7DP, GB09151058, is usually a credit broker regulated by FCA, FRN 667368. The verdict: sharp-suited looks, dynamics honed to prioritize driving pleasure over outright comfort, as well as a broad selection of powertrains to fit those seeking to maximize efficiency or speed. Other compact executives tend to be more spacious, some feel more luxurious, while other people are even faster. But none of them is often a BMW 3 Series Saloon. BMW 3 Series Saloon Review. Efficient and fast diesel range. Broad choice of petrols, 2. Rapid M3 incorporates a legacy to reside in up to. Few cars discounted have an engine lineup as broad as being the selection available with the BMW 3 Series Saloon. Even though it can appear quite daunting, the premise is the fact there's a model to suit your needs, whether you're prioritizing performance or efficiency. Economical 3 Series Saloon diesels. Despite all the different bootleg badges, you will find only 2 basic diesel engines within the 3 Series range, albeit with some other power and torque outputs. Rarely carry out the numbers relate with engine capacities when they did in years gone by. Case in point could be the entry-level 316D, powered by the 4-cylinder, turbocharged 2.0-litre motor producing just 116 horsepower, but a much more useful 270 Nm of torque at only 1,250 revolutions per minute, so that it is a flexible unit. A 6-speed manual gearbox is standard, through an 8-speed automatic suggested, both directing drive towards the rear wheels. A top speed of 125 miles per hour is usual to both, although at 10.6 seconds, the auto's a tenth of a second quicker as opposed to manual inside the 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint. The same engines cranked approximately 150 horsepower and 320 Nm of torque at 1,500 revolutions per minute inside the 318D, together with the same gearbox options as before. Performance is a bit more agreeable, Both transmission types will reach 134 miles per hour, and again the automatic's quicker 0 to 62 miles per hour, 8.4 seconds versus the manual's 8.6 second time. Most fuel efficient with the diesel range would be the 320D efficient dynamics, that has a 163 horsepower addition from the 2.0-liter engine, producing 400 Nm of torque at 1,750 revolutions per minute. Despite its economy focus, it's pleasingly quick, with both manual and automatic versions reaching 143 miles per hour, with 0 to 62 miles per hour times during the 7.9 and 7.8 seconds, respectively. The regular 320D has much more grunt, with 190 horsepower, albeit while using same torque figure since the ED, but regardless of the increase it's not significantly quicker. 0-62 Mach times during 7.3 seconds, manual, and 7.2 seconds, auto, complement the 146 miles per hour top speed. All-wheel drive may also be added to both transmissions inside the guise in the 320DX drive, although there's a tiny drop in performance as a result. Both have a premier speed of 145 miles per hour. While using manual's 7.4 second 0 to 62 miles per hour time being 0.1 seconds slower versus the automatic. Automatic may be the only transmission entirely on the 330D, the first with the diesels, which has a 6-cylinder, 3.0-liter engine. With power amp nearly 258 horsepower with 560 Nm of torque on tap from 1,500 revolutions per minute, it's an immediate saloon. Top speed is electronically governed to 155 miles per hour, which has a 0 to 62 miles per hour duration of 5.6 seconds. Additional traction about the 330DX drive, also automatic, shaves the 0 to 62 miles per hour time as a result of 5.3 seconds, although it's not the easiest diesel 3 Series. That honor belongs for the 335DX drive, still automatic only, but still running a few .0-liter diesel, although here it makes 313 horsepower and 630 Nm of torque at 1,500 revolutions per minute. It's still capped to 155 miles per hour all out, nonetheless its 4.8 second 0 to 62 miles per hour ensures it's only beaten in acceleration terms through the M3. Performance-focused 3 Series saloon petrols. The unusual sound emanating in the 318i is always the characterful thrum of any 3-cylinder engine, with this case precisely the same turbocharged 1.5-liter unit seen in various Mini Coopers. At 136 horsepower along with 220 Nm of torque at 1,250 revolutions per minute, its output is actually comparatively modest, but as with most in the range, manual and automatic transmissions take prescription offer. Both have a top-notch speed of 130 miles per hour, the manual's 8.9 second 0 to 62 miles per hour time trumping the automatic's 9.1 second time. A 4-cylinder 2.0-liter powerplant's underneath the bonnet with the 320i, producing 184 horsepower and 270 Nm of torque at 1,350 revolutions per minute. It's surprisingly pacey given its lowly ranking within the hierarchy, that has a 146 miles per hour top speed and 0 to 62 miles per hour points in the 7.2 and 7.3 seconds for your manual and automatic, respectively. All-wheel drive security is available inside the form with the otherwise mechanically similar 320iX drive, but there's a compact reduction in the performance. Top speed dips to 144 miles per hour, with 0 to 62 miles per hour times for both transmissions increasing by 0.3 seconds. Despite its 330i badging, each .0-liter engine also features here, with outputs elevated to 252 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque at 1,450 revolutions per minute. Top speed is governed to your familiar 155 miles per hour ceiling with both gearbox types, but at 5.8 seconds the automatic's a tenth of a second quicker versus the manual inside the 0 to 62 miles per hour dash. There is really a 6-cylinder, 3.0-liter petrol engine inside the 340i, though, with 326 horsepower being offered and torque peaking at 450 Nm at 1,380 revolutions per minute. Top speed remains at 155 miles per hour. However, the 0 to 62 miles per hour time is paired into 5.1 seconds with the automatic, 5.2 to the manual. Urban frugality for the plug-in hybrid. The suffix with the 330e describes electricity, signifying that this would be the petrol-electric plug-in hybrid with the 3 series range. An automated gearbox may be the sole choice here. That familiar 2.0-liter engine features yet again, paired up through an electric motor, giving a theoretical zero-emissions array of 25 miles. But, at a performance perspective, a combined production of 252 horsepower and 420 Nm of torque means it's no slouch. Top speed is 140 miles per hour, having a 6.1 second 0 to 62 miles per hour time. Performance flagship, the BMW M3. Packing a 431 horsepower would be the latest iteration from the M3, solely available to be a 4-door saloon provided that the coupe and convertible versions are badged M4. Nestled from the engine bay can be a 6-cylinder 3.0-liter unit, distinctive from the 340i, that was a pair of turbos. Turbocharged engines are infamous for lag lower down inside the rev range, the location where the performance is comparatively ordinary prior to the spools in the forced induction system start working. Not below. Its couple of small, lighter-weight turbos have a very short inlet tract and intensely effective cooling in the air that's passing through them. In short, more torque can be acquired at lower engine speeds, with 550 Nm itching being deployed for the rear wheels from just 1,850 revolutions per minute. It's not peaky rolling around in its delivery either. The rev count is needle arcing smoothly to 5,500 revolutions per minute without the need of tangible fall-off in performance. There's the merest of breathers on each gear change, prior to the revs rapidly rising and demanding another ratio be selected. Floor the M3's throttle at any speed, plus it seemingly features a deluge of torque available, making overtaking maneuvers particularly safe and efficient. In the M3's upper echelons of revs, there's an angrier growl on the exhaust, amplified from the cabin speakers. Poodle out partying at lower speeds and you're associated with an orchestra of snarling pops and crackles. The cover in the M3's subtle looks is blown apart by its soundtrack. 2 gearbox choices take Bresktiption offer, a 6-speed manual or perhaps a 7-speed MDCT dual-clutch gearbox can be an engineering marvel that maximizes the car's performance and efficiency. It's almost as smooth to be a regular automatic transmission when you wish it to become, but switch between its 3 settings and you have a brutal mode, one with the engaging kick inside back of your seat since you blip throughout the gears with all the throttle spacious. The MDCT's the quicker, 4.1 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, versus the manual's 4.3 second time. Top speed is again tied to 155 miles per hour, and if that's not sufficient, there's the M3 competition pack, using a power hike to 450 horsepower, although torque remains exactly the same. This M3's more and more focused, with stiffer, sharpened responses to correspond, featuring its 0 to 62 miles per hour points during the 4.0 seconds, MDCT, and 4.2 seconds, manual. One with the most agile cars of any type for sale. Steering is delightfully communicative. M3 ATAT sanitized with electronic started up. For many compact executive car buyers, and rival manufacturers, the handling benchmark on this class may be the BMW 3 Series Saloon. This 6th generation model features a legacy to reside in up to. Even its predecessor was considered for being the segment's best car dynamically for the entire production run. Cementing its place on the head from the handling pack, this 3 Series iteration has stiffer underpinnings and bodywork than its predecessor, despite being longer overall. Crucially, its predominantly rear-wheel drive arrangement allows for your front wheels being pushed out on the edges on the nose in the car for greater agility. This makes all the BMW a class act. The steering has pinpoint accuracy and it is beautifully weighted. There is a good amount of feedback with the steering wheel, allowing the motorist to feel it one while using car. Body roll is minimal and a few series is very composed via a series corners due to excellent degrees of traction, even without the benefit from all-wheel drive. Many versions feature drive performance control that allows the trucker to swap between driving modes with the touch of a button. The modes involve Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport with the extra level called Sport Plus is positioned on Sport and M Sport models. Here the motive force can vary parameters like steering weight, throttle response, gear change points on automatic models and also the firmness on the adaptive suspension, where fitted. We recommend that before investing buy a 3 Series, you sample versions with and devoid of the adaptive suspension option. It's a choice we would choose, adding a better degree of comfort for the BMW's ride quality, but in case you're predominantly driving on motorways, you could feel it's not really worth the additional outlay. Adjustable BMW M3 handling. The 3 Series' handling prowess bodes well to the M3, containing also undergone an 80 kg weight-saving program compared using its predecessor inside an effort to finesse its handling, with extensive utilization of carbon fiber and aluminium. With all its electronic stability systems on, the M3 remains a cushy yet devastatingly quick sports saloon, displaying agility more comparable to a two-seater roadster. Some might notice the sensation is sanitized in contrast to M3s of old. The steering wheel push into safe understeer if tight bends are tackled straight away, but switch off the traction control and it also is no more a hindrance. Its balance is impeccable, allowing drivers who prefer to work with the throttle to assist steering angle with bottom movement to accomplish this. However, you'll need sharp reflexes to accumulate it all up again in case you're too liberal with your application with the accelerator pedal. Body roll is kept down even in comfort model, but selecting Sport or Sport Plus shortens the M3 to a level of being virtually roll-less through corners. There offer a similar experience settings for that steering too, enhancing the weight and not the feel when you progress through them. Largely we found keeping it in comfort was fine. The thick, padded tire rim is a delight to hold onto and offering a considerable level of communication. Well made with high-quality materials. Yet it ceases to impress just like the C-Class cabin. Intuitive to utilize controls make life easy. BMW has bestowed a few series saloon with one with the most driver-focused cabins around, while using center console angled a lot more acutely towards the motive force than its predecessor was. It's intuitive to utilize, with logically arranged, and pleasing to work with, switchgear, such as the iDrive multimedia controller which consists of rotary dial. Contemporary iDrive systems are a lot easier to navigate than earlier versions introduced back 2002, with additional shortcut buttons about the central knob and logical menus displayed around the multimedia screen that stands proud in the dashboard. While the inner soft touch plastics are of an high quality, plus the dashboard's got a fascinating oblique styling theme into it, it somehow conspires never to feel as classy as being the interiors with the Audi A4 and Mercedes-Benz C-Class do. There's an extensive palette of colors available for the 3 Series saloon's interior plastic moldings, including a number of trim appliques in wood, metal and textured plastics. Differences from the BMW M3 cabin. Save for a few M3 specific features just like the seats, tire and automatic gear lever, you'd be hard-pressed to learn whether you are within the flagship sports model or even a lowly 316D. Yes, you possibly can make it more special with BMW's exclusive package, nonetheless it should feel more special than lesser 3 Series anyway. This though, is usually a relatively minor criticism, since the M3's cabin can be a refined and comforting put in place which traveling, especially because of the wide variety of adjustment from your superb front seats. Although we've got reservations regarding the gouchness on the illuminated M badges for the seatbacks. 3 Series blends sportiness with comfort. Adaptive suspension option worthwhile considering. M3 is usable daily without being too firm. On motorways particularly, the ride quality is extremely good and road, wind and tire noise is minimal. Inevitably there's some engine noise, particularly under harder acceleration, on the diesels, while 318i petrols through the 2015 facelift use a characteristic 3-cylinder thrum. The front seats are incredibly comfortable, along with the side and lumbar support are fantastic. There's a good amount of adjustment too, though the electrical versions assist you to hone your driving position with a lot more perfection. Move to your rear seats and you'll find a good amount of space for 2 main adults. However, if space will be your primary requirement, then look at something more mainstream such to be a Ford Mondeo, Skoda Superb or Vauxhall Insignia Grand Sport. BMW M3 is comfortable and rapid. There's no escaping the M3 saloon's rapidity and degrees of driver engagement, but equally impressive are BMW M3 comfort levels. The secret will be the adaptive suspension dampers at every corner. Sure, whenever you put it into Sport or Sport Plus modes, it sharpens considerably, using the latter setting making the ride particularly firm. In comfort mode you're unlikely to acquire many complaints through your passengers. It's not only a comfort-oriented car though, along with 19-inch alloy wheels shod in very slender yet wide rubber, you will discover going to become odd jolts and noises but nothing particularly jarring. Depending which engine mode you ultimately choose, it may be quite soothing from the cabin too, the 6-cylinder motor sounding almost subdued sometimes, should you want it to get, although tire oil from your beefy rubber may be tiresome on motorway jaunts should you drive minus the infotainment system started up. Front seat occupants are very well catered for with superb seats offering support and grip without feeling such as your kidneys are actually pummeled from a long journey. Generous equipment levels through the range. M Sport may be the most desired. Be careful choosing options, the charge mounts quickly. Despite some experimental trim levels earlier from the 3 Series' life cycle with titles for example Modern and Luxury, BMW finally settled down having a more familiar hierarchy outlined below. Standard BMW 3 Series Saloon Equipment. BMW 3 Series say. 1. The BMW clocked back some decades and say, for special equipment, models were more generously kitted out versions from the range. Nowadays it's the entry-level specification. 17-inch V-spoke alloy wheels. Cruise control with braking function. Electric windows and door mirrors. Automatic LED lights front and back. Automatic wipers. Matte black exterior detailing. Dual zone climate control. Multimedia system with sat-nav, DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity. BMW 320d Efficient Dynamics Plus. A unique trim specific on the 320d Efficient Dynamics adds towards the sales kit roster with 16-inch V-spoke alloy wheels with low rolling resistance tires. Active air flaps behind the grille. Dakota leather upholstery. Heated front seats. BMW 3 Series Saloon Sport. Common to sport models are 17-inch double-spoke alloys. High-gloss black exterior detailing. Sport-specific instruments and leader. Sports front seats. Cloth upholstery, leather on 320d Efficient Dynamics. Drive performance control with Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus modes. Switchable ambient lighting between white and orange. BMW 3 Series Saloon M Sport. The most favored trim level from the 3 Series range, in spite of the price hike through the say, adds the next. 18-inch star spoke alloy rims. M Sport specific bodykit. Stiffened suspension. Rear center armrest with cup holders. Dakota leather upholstery. Anthracite headlining. M Sport specific instruments and tire. BMW 3 Series M Sport Shadow Edition. Joining the stove from summer 2017 could be the distinctive Shadow Edition version from the M Sport. It adds 19-inch M Sport double-spoke alloys. Dark and light lenses. automatic main beam, darkened rear glass, high gloss black exterior detailing, Harman Kardon speaker system, BMW M3 specs. For the performance flagship, the M Sport trim would be the starting point, using the M3 also gaining 19-inch M3 specific alloys, active M differential, adaptive M suspension, carbon fiber reinforced plastic roof, boot-led spoiler, extended merino leather, M3 specific instruments and leader, BMW M3 competition package. Topping the range would be the performance-focused competition package for that M3. 20-inch M3 star spoke alloys, competition-specific stiffened suspension, M Sports exhaust, lighter-weight front sports seats, BMW 3 Series saloon, optional extras. Besides the typical extra cost options you'd expect to find, for instance metallic paint, leather interiors along with a wide array of alloy wheel designs, many with the 3 Series saloons options are already bundled into packages representing better value for cash. Active security package, a safety pack comprising of lane change warning, electrically folding door mirrors along with the virtual cockpit described below. Advanced parking package, automatic self-parking which has a reversing camera and all-round parking sensors. Innovation package, many features bundled here including an upgraded sat-nav with online services, a head-up display function as well as a Wi-Fi hotspot. Interior comfort package, a heated leader and front seats are joined by the sliding front armrest and split folding rear seats with regard to added practicality. Professional Plus medial package, highly advanced rendering with the 3D sat-nav display connected to online services for constantly updated information. Virtual cockpit, a 10.25-inch monitor takes the spot of physical instruments having a design that varies depending around the drive mode selected. Strong safety record for a few series, but it's a more mature design than many rivals. Lots of safety kit remains optional. There's no doubting the inherent safety in the BMW 3 Series saloon, nevertheless it's also worth noting that it can be an aging design that gained its 5-star Euro NCAP crash test rating way back in 2012. That said, BMW is undoubtedly an advanced engineering company, and from the years because it was introduced this series has been manufactured available with much on the newer safety tech the firm has got. In addition to your usual raft of airbags and electronic stability software, all 3 Series saloons include full LED lights back and front that turn on automatically, rain-sensing windscreen wipers, rear parking sensors and run flat tires for more stability when a puncture occurs. Optional BMW 3 Series saloon safety equipment. Naturally, extra safety products are also available, nevertheless, you have to pay more because of it. That means when you want desirable features, for example adaptive cruise control, it's one on the best, incidentally, automatic main beam, a head-up display function or possibly a digital instrumentation binnacle, you'll ought to dig deep. Disappointingly, the driving assistant, a package that incorporates autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning and preventive pedestrian protection, is also within the options list. How many ISOFIX points from the BMW 3 Series saloon? ISOFIX child seat mounting points are located within the outer 2 positions in the rear bench seat, but in the relatively compact dimensions from the 3 Series saloon's interior. Fitting an adult from the center position afterwards will prove uncomfortable. Watch BMW 3 Series Euro NCAP crash test video. Compact 4-door cars hardly ever the last word in automotive practicality, and also the BMW 3 Series saloon doesn't alter this mindset. Strictly speaking, you'll find 5 seatbelts, but 4 adults will travel far more comfortably inside the car than if there's yet another passenger sat inside middle in the rear bench. Regardless, those within the back tight on space to luxuriate in compared to the pair beforehand. Storage for bits and pieces is sufficient in lieu of generous, with decently proportioned door bins, glove box and cup holders. If you're progressing to your 3 Series saloon from a far more mainstream hatchback, it shouldn't end up being too daunting a proposition. All versions consist of rear parking sensors as standard, helping judge the otherwise hidden rear end with the car, although you'll pay extra for just a set with the front and reversing or 360-degree cameras. Size-wise it's relatively dainty, so locating a supermarket parking space or slotting it to your garage shouldn't prove too tricky. Outright practicality is not normally a primary concern for buyers of 4-door cars, as demonstrated with the BMW 3 Series saloon's stubby boot lid having a correspondingly small opening. The firm's argument is that should you need extra flexibility, then your hatchback 3 Series Gran Turismo and Estate 3 Series Touring are available too. You can enhance the capacity on the 480-litre boot by opting to the split folding rear seats. Even so, you should factor within the cost of another extra